recording. Share the recording.
The battle's still going on?
Yeah, but I have a tab with the
Sheet?
doc up.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Wait, are you recording my stream or are you recording your own desktop?
I'm recording my desktop. So I thought we would just start by going over who's on which teams and their names. What do you guys think of their names?
I feel like you set that up just for us, Mark.
I'll be honest, like I don't even like it would be like I would have to think about it, and like it would be like a quiz show almost of reciting who's on which team, like.
Okay, you want to do this from memory? Okay, we'll do this from memory. I'll close my tab.
Alright, okay.
Okay,
Well,
all right. So wait, who was first in draft? It was
It was us.
Yeah, it was
it was you guys. It was H2EZ4 GOATs, Albert and Martin. A play on how to win Martin and too easy for the goat.
Yeah, true.
I think it's a pretty good name, but it's the only downfall is that it's exclusive to our draft. Like anyone else viewing the sheet wouldn't know what it was.
Yeah, no,
that's the only problem with me. I don't know how audio balance is. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn down my music and turn you guys up.
Right.
I have you. You're pretty loud, but I don't know. It's fine. The next one, go.
Okay. Second was second was not. Oh
yeah,
no,
it was Fitz.
Fitz. It was Fitz and Steve. It was Steve and Fitz. It was Blackthorn City Baddies. It was the safe for work version of some of the band names that we came up with.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give that name. I'm gonna safely say that's my least favorite name in the entire draft. Very safely say that is my least favorite name. No shade. Just
like saying it.
A little bit of a question mark.
Yeah. All right.
And then after them was Kevin and Jeff.
Yeah. Tokyo Tentacruels.
And that was the Tokyo Tentacruels. The only one I would consider like normal name in the entire draft.
And even then,
like,
it has implications.
It was just, whatever. But yeah, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like,
is that actually what they meant to do?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, cause like Jeff, when he told me, like he was like, "I'm going to draft Tentacruel, Naya Legal, and Artillery." That was like his entire draft plan. So like, I think you got it.
Who's next?
Wait, does Zed? Wait, what does Zed Belly Drum do? I thought it restored all of your health.
Yeah, and then cuts it down by 50.
Oh, and then it also cuts it down to 50. Yes.
Yeah. It would be broken like the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, he lived. Okay, next was Laws and Ranger.
Yeah.
And they were the likes jazz. So that one's a little bit more. It's a meme, but it's more of a universal meme because it's the B movie.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
It's like the most famous like quote from the B movie.
Oh really? Because I just thought like liking jazz was funny, but.
Okay. No, it's a B movie quote.
Like if you look at Law's profile picture on Discord, it's the B from B movie saying you like jazz. Like that's actually the meme from his Discord profile. Just likes that.
You better get this next one.
The next one was me. The next one was me and Junaid. Or Junaid and I.
Who's Juniper? Right? I don't even know. Yeah, you're right.
Juniper is Professor Juniper.
Yeah, which game is that? Black and white?
It's black and white.
Okay. Yeah, I like this name a lot actually.
Yeah, so it's Juniper Justice is our name. All right, it's an interesting fan art of Juniper on Google Images, but yeah, we're Juniper Justice because it's Junaid, Julian, Juniper Justice.
Yeah,
and
like that.
Juju is a thing too. Juju's a thing. It's like I like it. I like it a lot.
There's a lot of different layers.
I really do like that one. Yeah.
Okay, and then after us was Remnant and Carnivore, and it was Brampton BuzzSWOLES because they're both from Brampton and they both like BuzzWole, but it's not BuzzWoles, it's BuzzSWOLES. Even though it's pretty good, but they didn't draft BuzzWole.
Yeah, it would have been better.
The Tentacruels committed and they drafted that.
I wonder if that was in their plans, the Tentacruel plan.
I don't think it was.
Absolutely was.
You think so?
I'm sure of it. Just like knowing Jeff.
Hold on. Snorlax, the god of thunder, says, I'm the strongest of all supreme beings. I make Zeus himself tremble whenever he hears of my name. For who I am the one that truly makes the skies and Stroms at bay. So I am Snorlax, the thunder god. Are you graced by my presence? I warn you, if you are not graced, I will bestow upon you with diabetes and high blood pressure.
Oh my god. You
Do
just
you
gave
fear
this
my
guy
skill?
exactly what he wanted.
The power of the infinite curse. I scare the shit out of Greninja with my mighty Thunder Fang. Thank you for gracing our presence, Snorlax, the god of thunder. Hope you enjoy our stream.
Jesus.
I like how Jeff in the middle of that is like, we wanted White Forest power.
Okay, alright.
Wait, who said that? That was the...
That was me. I made that up as a joke.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What's the next one? Like, are they sticking with Team 1? Like, is that...
Oh yeah, Team 1 was I don't know. Like, it's on the dock now, so I'd have to go back and change all of it. Or I guess Ethan would if he wanted to change it, which I'm fine with it if they want to change their names. Like, as long as, they make their own logo, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I actually really like Team 1. That's like a good play, because like I was making fun of them for being Team 1, like the number.
It's alright, I guess.
Martin, very critical, alright?
Like, they're not Team 1 anymore.
That's true. They didn't get first draft pick. They got second last draft.
Yeah.
But like Team 7 doesn't sound nearly as good.
And the last...
One thing that didn't click in until now... Sorry, go ahead, and I'll say it after you're done.
Okay. The last team is...
Abrar's team.
Yeah, Abrar Matt S, which is the Solaceon Soulblazers, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What I was gonna say is I didn't realize this until afterwards, but like that is such a try-hard name, and it fits like their players so well.
Why is it try-hard?
I don't know, just something about it is like.
No, I get that, Martin.
Like
I have the same feeling.
What city is Solaceon? Is that from X and Y?
DPP.
Isn't that a Pokemon?
Oh yeah.
It's like the one with a
No, that's Solgaleo.
Oh yeah, Solgaleo. Whoops.
It's like kind of like full edgy. So like
That's pretty edge. The alliteration, but the serious alliteration, not like the Juju alliteration, and not the Tokyo hentai alliteration.
Yeah. It also abbreviates to SS, so like not sure how I feel about that.
Oh, you mean like SSN, right? Like the SSN?
Like a boat. Yeah. No,
what's the other boat called in gold? SS something else.
No, it's the N.
No, there's a different boat in gold and silver.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
It's not the SSN again?
No.
Boat in Pokemon GSC. Hold on, let me search this up.
Oh, SS Aqua? Is that what it's called?
Maybe.
It's so stupid.
Okay.
That's so dumb. Is that actually what they called it?
Yeah,
My brain just made it say the SSN because it just made sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's the SS Aqua.
Yeah, it's stupid. Okay, anyways, yeah, so those are all the teams. Let's go through the rosters, I guess. We'll just go right into it, right?
Yeah. Ours is for
Soulblazer. I said Soulblazer.
Do it in order.
Oh, the fuck is Soulblazer? Let's do a quick Google search of what a Soulblazer is.
Yeah, what is a Soulblazer?
Oh, I gotta change my title.
It might be based off of I think there's a basketball team called the Blazers.
It's an action RPG for the Super NES.
I think it was just
I think it was just they went to the most badass edgy name they could.
No. He was probably just basing it off Como OZ moves, like Clangor's Soul Blaze, it's I sound cool, That's
Okay.
pretty much what he was going for, I think.
Let's talk about the first team. That first pick overall. Como.
Oh. First overall pick. That's gonna change the when I do I consider when Mons were picked and I do the priority of Mons in draft.
Yeah.
And how hot Pokemon are, and Suicune is just way overinflated because I first pick it every time. Now Como O has a little bit of inflation. First overall pick.
The reason, I don't know if I should get into the controversy, but
controversy?
There's
Should
a
I,
little bit of
Albert?
controversy. Let's
I don't know
not.
I don't know the controversy. Wait, explain it to me, and you guys don't have to give your stance, but I just want to hear it.
No, it's not really a controversy. It's just that like I spoke to Ethan and he also really wanted this. But like given our
Oh.
draft philosophy this season, like Como O was in our top 3. I think it was going to go
Either first, second, or third.
yeah, like it was going to be top 3 no matter what, and Ethan said he really wanted it, so like we first picked it.
Yeah, to prevent
Okay.
any
I mean,
sniping.
Like, when you tell someone about, like, my personal opinion is that when you tell someone what you want to draft, like, being like, oh, I want this, promise you won't take it, though. Like, it's kind of like, all right, well, I mean, obviously, if that person wanted that Mon before, and, like, they're not going to admit to you that they wanted the Mon, because then that's going to make you first pick it. So, like, even if you guys wanted Como O, you would have still said, oh, yeah, Ethan, like, I don't want it. And then you would have first picked it, because if you had said, I want Como O, Ethan would have tried to first pick it.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're telling someone about what you want to pick, it's kind of under the assumption of, like, yeah, you're opening yourself up to get sniped. Like, there's zero reason to talk about your picks with other people before they happen. Right?
Yeah, and I think just given our philosophy, we were so much more willing to do that than maybe Ethan, who wanted to get Scizor Mega or like some like high tier Mega. Like we were never like gonna go for a high demand Pokemon. Like I know Abrar wrote like his draft analysis, and he said, oh, and they picked up a high tier whichever's left at the end. But no, like we knew Weevil wasn't going to get taken.
Weevil,
And we wanted Weevil from the beginning. And that's why...
I think that was a good strategy. Like, we did that with some of... Like, when we get into our roster, we'll get into it. But, like, Junaid and I did the same sort of thing where, like, we picked lower tiers first because we knew that they were quote-unquote, like, value.
Yeah.
So we picked them over, like, the high tiers that we think are, like, maybe a little bit over-tiered. Yeah. Just because of that pick factor. It's not like... This isn't open draft anymore, right? Like, it's not just, like... That's one of the things I really like about point draft over open draft is that, like, it's not just the most like the only strategy isn't just like pick the most OP mons first.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. I agree.
A lot of it is about value.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's why I like your draft. I like your draft order specifically.
Yeah, we actually spent a lot of time working on the order to make sure that we would like get sniped the least.
Originally, we had Gardevoir much higher in the order, but we just kind of recognized that like. I don't know. Everyone was choosing their megas, and I remember. I think one of the only teams without a mega still was Abrar and
not Abrar. It was another team.
Well, I think there was 2 teams, and they both already chose really high tier Pokemon, and we were like, they're not going to choose an S- mega. So then we decided to drop Gardevoir down the list. It was originally going to be our 3rd picks, but
you were going to pick Mega Guard?
No, regular Guard.
Oh, you were saying so it doesn't get blocked from you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was scared of Abrar taking it because like he was always like very supportive of Jen's like substitute Gardevoir, so I was like, holy shit, what if he takes it from us? Because that's what I was scared of.
Yeah, I think one of the things that like Abrar specifically said about your roster was like the type cores with like Psychic Dragon Steel. And like when you look at like the type core, like he said that you guys had like all 3 type cores present.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with that for like, I don't know. But, well, okay, I don't, you have the cores, but I don't necessarily agree that they're actual cores. Like you have the type, like the type requirements, but like is Como O Metagross base Gardevoir really a core? And I'd say no. Is Mantine Moltres Tangela a core? I'd say no. And what was the last one? He said like Dark Fighting Psychic. You also had is Weavile. Gardevoir and Como O a core, and I'd say more so than any of the other ones I listed, but still like in draft, no.
I think Tangela and Moltres are pretty good together.
Yeah,
they're good. They're definitely good together, but they're not like a core, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like you don't build a team around Tangela, Moltres, Mantine.
We didn't really. Because I don't think we built with cores in mind like that too. Like,
no, I know that. No, that's what I'm saying. Is like you guys drafted those things. But like what Abrar was saying, like a lot of Abrar's analysis was like specifically about core synergy, and I think you guys have this synergy, like the type synergy, but I don't think you have core synergy. Because if I'm looking at this team's core is what? Like it's like I'd say it's like Aerodactyl, Mantine, Weavile probably is what I'd say is like a good core of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like the synergy between those mons is like, you know, it's pretty good. Okay, maybe that's not the best core because it's pretty weak to electric. But like, what I'm trying to say is that when you make a core out of this team, it's not like a fire, water, grass core. It's not a psychic steel or psychic fighting dark core. It's not a fairy steel dragon core. It's got like different elements of all those type synergies sprinkled throughout your roster.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I like, but I'm saying it's not like like you don't have like a super strong type core.
I don't know. I think the Mantine Moltres Tangela core, other than being weak to rocks, but I think that's a good fire water core in my opinion.
It's too passive. It doesn't do anything. Moltres, the only thing Moltres does is go for moves
core
that have high chance of missing.
Yeah.
Like flamethrower. But like, I think Moltres has like a lot more offensive pressure than people might think. That's like my opinion on it.
Yeah. Nick is saying that like your team in general has like a weak core, which I'll agree with to a certain extent, because when you go under that philosophy of like value picks, which like this roster is 100% value picks. Like every single mon is either under tiered or like considered value. And so when you try to make like a 3-mon core out of value mons, you're obviously going to get a little bit lower of a power level, but the strength of this draft isn't in its unanswerable type core or its unanswerable core. It's in the fact that like you have 11 mons, and it's kind of like a guessing game as to what you're going to bring. So when people try and like when they have like strong mons that have to bring specific sets, you can change them up with the amount of variance that you have in your draft, which I think is like a perfectly valid strategy. We haven't seen it very much at all, like especially since point draft started. Like we used to see this a lot more when it was open draft, because of the sheer number of mons that we picked up. So we used to pick up like minimum in open draft, but we haven't really seen an 11 Pokemon roster.
I was gonna ask that.
On draft day.
Has there been?
I don't think there has been another draft day 11 mon roster. Like people have picked up to 11, but nobody's drafted 11 since we introduced points. I don't think so.
And that's what like Martin and I went into this with the mindset of like we want 10 solid mons, 11 if possible.
Originally we had Sneasel and Snorlax instead of Weevil Illumies. What do you think of that? For even more value.
Sneasel and Snorlax instead of Weavile Illumies. I like the Prankster a lot on this team, because you have like, even though you have 11 mons, you only have 3 over 100. And what's Sneasel speed? 115?
Yeah,
115.
Yeah, so okay, that's considerably above 100. You have 3 solid speed tiers above 100, but the rest of your mons are all like super middle of the road. And I like a Prankster, like Aerodactyls, it like hits the fastest speed tier besides Ninjask. That's legal. And so like the Prankster is nice to sort of give you a little bit more leverage when you want to run like Adamant or something on your Aerodactyl. And it doesn't force like all of your mons to run their Timid and Jolly sets, because the mons that are fast would obviously prefer to run their Adamant sets. Like Weavile 120 attack is good, but like you want to run Adamant when you can. 135 is good, but you definitely want to run Adamant. And Rabombi has 95 special attack. You're going to be Quiver Dancing anyways, but Modest would be nice if possible. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you want the Prankster to sort of like pad your speed tiers a little bit more. And especially support your lower speed tiers, because like the jump from 125 or 124 goes all the way down to 90, which is a huge jump. So either like you're outspeeding everything, or like you're not outspeeding anything, kind of thing, you know?
Just I guess one last note. I do think the team is rock weak, and that's like my biggest complaint.
It is. Yeah.
But do you guys want to move on to the next team? Are we giving grade ratings or what?
Yeah, we can give grade ratings.
I mean, like, I'm biased because it's my own team, right?
I'd like to hear what you guys think about this team.
I think it's a really good draft, and I think, like...
What's highest? S?
I think A.
I don't know.
Oh, you want to put A as highest? Okay.
Like A+ to B-, because
I don't know. I'm not going to rank my own team. I don't know what to say. Also, I want to put another Coma O here, so we just have two Coma O's.
Oh, two Coma.
Yeah, H2EZ.
Or one's regular Coma O, one's Totem Coma O, so I just copy paste it, but I make it just slightly bigger.
But I honestly don't want to give our own draft the rating. It's too...
Albert, what do you think then?
Again, like, I don't want to do it, but if I had to, like, B plus.
I'd agree with the B plus just because like on like when you're glancing at this team, there's nothing that really stands out as like, oh shit, I have to be afraid of that thing. Like it would have been Como O if Zed Omni moves were legal, but they're not. So like when you look at this team, there's no Pokemon that you look at that you're like, oh, it's trash. I don't have to think about it. Like every mon on this team, like carries some sort of weight.
You know what's funny? Ironically enough, I think Snorlax would have been that Pokemon for sure. Like you can't ignore that Pokemon. It can set up and just beat you. So like
instead of what? I think maybe instead of the Gardevoir, I mean, like if you wanted to win.
No,
like Gardevoir is the one mon on this roster where I'm kind of like, all right, well I can expect it to be specs or I don't have to prep for it because like there's no counter prep to Heal Bell, right?
Yeah. I don't even think
like the counter prep to Heal Bell is just not bringing status.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Yeah, let's go to the next team. I don't want to spend too long on every team.
Yeah. Okay.
The next one, BCB. Yeah, Blackthorn City Baddies.
Oh wait. Sorry. Can we go back to your team for one second?
Yeah.
Your Zed captain is Como O.
Yeah.
I think this team, one of the other things that it lacked was like a consistent Zed mover, like someone that like a Pokemon that was like, yeah, for sure that should be our Zed user. Like if I was Zed moving this roster, it would have been a toss up between Como and Moltres for me.
Yeah.
And neither of those are ideal. But I think you guys.
I would have considered Metagross as well.
Yeah, same. I was thinking Metagross.
Metagross is the only other one I would consider, but
Those
I think like either Como or Moltres is the right decision here. So I think you guys made the right decision, but it's a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
Personally. Anyways, we can move on now.
Okay.
Yeah. Blackthorn City.
We were planning for this team because we actually play him this week, but I think it's like a good roster. Sharpedo Mega is probably the best Pokemon I've ever used in draft. Like, it's just so easy to use.
It's okay. I think like Sharpedo M requires you to like get a lot of either have like consistent ways of getting chip, or having like really bulky mons that can just like tank a hit and hit them, so that Sharpedo can clean later because it's just a good cleaner. And like on this team, Floette Eternal is not a chipper. Floette Eternal is a killer. And like Swampert, it sets up rocks. It's the only rocker on this team besides Jirachi. Right? Yeah, it's the only rocker on this team besides Jirachi, and like you do not want to run rocks on your first pick Zed mover. But like Swampert doesn't have like reliable recovery, and so like in order to get that chip, Swampert needs to get rocks and keep them up, which is very, very difficult for Swampert, I think.
Yeah, Swampert's very passive. Not a fan of that one.
I have kind of a general question here, like when you have a Z captain, do you like tend to try to bring a Z move on it just because it's your Z captain? Like kind of how like you're gonna want to draft a Mega just so because, or bring your Mega because you can have one Mega per team. Because like for me personally, like my Z captain was Zapdos and twice in a row, and I brought it maybe one in every 10 games. Like I didn't care that it was my Z captain. I didn't feel obligated to bring a Z move.
Okay,
yeah,
depends on like
personally what I do, I make like for my Z captain, I make the best set with the Z move, and then I make the best set without the Z move, and then I see which one fits better on the team that I'm planning on using. Because like, you know, every team I make has a plan, and when you have a Z user, a big chunk of that plan is usually get that Z move off at this time, you know? And so like when something has a Z move, especially if it's like a good Z move user like Xurkitree, it's kind of just like, all right, well, I'm going to get an opportunity. Like if I get the opportunity to sweep, it's with the Z move. Okay. And there were some games when I would run like Scarf. Like I think like one of the interchangeable items with Z moves is like Scarf. There's not many others though. Like running lefties instead of a Z crystal just feels fun.
Well, like that's what Zapdos would do.
Zapdos is fine. Like I think Zapdos can do. Zapdos has like Zapdos has sets that like can be defensive or offensive.
Yeah.
But you know, like some like that's what I'm saying is like Jirachi running lefties instead of the Z move is a little bit underwhelming to me.
What about you, Albert? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Like, I think that's a bad mentality to have. Like you're forced to bring a Z move. Because like looking back at it in season 7, there were plenty of times I should have brought like stuff like Shuka Berry or Aqua Berry onto my Magearna instead of like a Z move. Because I was just like so eager to use a Z move. Yeah, I was so fixated on it. So I think it's like actually a very good mindset to not always run a Z move.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
not
I think so too.
We have barely talked about this team though, like the other mons.
like
I think this thing's gonna get kind of like all of these mons are sort of pigeonholed. Like that, I don't see a lot of variance at all in this roster. Like Jirachi's the most varied Pokemon on this team,
yeah.
but everything else is kind of like I'd say predictable.
Yeah.
for the most
The
part.
only like unpredictable mon here really is Hitmonlee besides Jirachi.
And it's maybe because of what we just did, like what we just looked at, our team that was like full of just Pokemon. But this one feels kind of, maybe it's because they drafted Jirachi, which I think is an S tier.
Yeah.
They kind of like it. Their power level seems kind of low on this team. I feel like maybe.
Actually, I totally agree. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like it just seems kind of low. But some ones like Electros, I think, are pretty valuable. I know nothing
I
about
like this stuff.
Shinotic. Someone told me about Shinotic.
It gets
Shinotic is
Sap.
it's Grass Fairy with Strength Sap, Spore, Moonblast. That's
Gets
pretty much
Spore.
it.
Holy shit.
Get Spore.
Wow.
I guess that's
I
pretty
think
good.
so. Get Spore, doesn't it?
I refuse to believe that. Sure.
I should know this.
Yeah, it does. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Get Spore.
Huh.
It's just
Crazy.
bad though. Like I don't know. Gets Effect Spore. Got Rain Dish, but they're never gonna get that off. That would have been kind of funny if they had like, you know, if they had like if they bring like Rain Dance Swampert. If it was Mega Swampert, it would have been better. But
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. Like this team, like when you try, like when I look at this team, I say, all right, Jirachi's gonna be offensive Z move, or it's gonna be passive Wish Support, which I like don't really have to prep for. Like Sharpedo's gonna be a cleaner, or it's gonna be some god awful set that I don't have to prep for. Floette Eternal is gonna be Scarf Specs, Light of Ruin, or it's gonna be a specially defensive Wish, which I don't have to prep for. Right? Like everything I go down on this roster is kind of like, all right, is it its most threatening set? No. All right, I guess I can skip this when I prep. You know?
Is Floette Eternal considered a final evolution?
No.
Oh, so it could run
Oh,
Eolite?
I don't think it's a Violite. It doesn't run a Violite.
Yeah, I think maybe it does consider as a final evolution.
Yeah, it is considered as a final evolution for Violite purposes. I'm like 80% sure on this.
Okay.
They don't really. They only have one hazard removal in Hitmonlee.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Your only hazard removal is spin blocked.
And like
You know, there aren't a lot of ghosts.
they're gonna probably want to bring Delphox a lot, I think, on this team, and I don't know.
I feel like Delphox is kind of pigeonholed as a Scarfer, because like that's pretty much one of the only things they have. That's
They have Excalibur. Oh, that's Scarfable?
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you have a speed boost mon, Scarf isn't, like, your top priority.
Yeah, but if you can like phase Sharpedo out,
Jirachi can Scarf. Jirachi's a Scarf.
I guess.
I think Jirachi's best set is Scarf, in my opinion. Especially if you already lost the game and you can just pray Ironhead bails you out.
Also, Floette Eternal Scarves. What are you talking about? This team has, like, 3 different Scarves.
No, I mean like over 100 speed. That's like this benchmark I always look for in Scarves. I don't know. That's probably just me as an OU player, because that's always a benchmark you want to aim for.
Yeah.
It's like draft is very different, and
I haven't seen any Z moves on Jirachi that have really wowed me yet. So
What's like
I don't know what to say
Zed
about
Healing Wish? Oh, wait, does it even? Yeah, I guess. Or what's that move it has?
Memento. Zed Memento is the one you're thinking of, but it doesn't get Memento.
Whatever.
I don't even know what Zed Healing Wish does. Like,
I don't know.
Oh, Junaid said about your team that the best core is Como-O, Weavile, Nidoking. Okay. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
That's one mon we didn't talk about, Nidoking, but like it also, I think it's pretty good. But no, we should
probably stop talking about your draft.
I don't know why I even brought that up.
No, I brought it up. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know about this team. It just seems kind of low power level.
It's very weak to bonks. I think.
Nothing
Nothing on this team takes a bonk from anything.
No. I did stream Steve, and like I was kind of surprised. Floette Eternal's actually pretty good. Like I was not expecting it to be.
Was it Scarfed or Specs against you?
It must have been Specs because it like O-code Mantine, which was like shocking.
Yeah, and then it killed itself, right?
It did a lot of recall. Yeah.
It does like 70 to it.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. The other thing I wanted to say is like Floette. One of the reasons I tiered it so lowly or I wanted it to be tiered so low is because it needs hazard removal support. Like it needs it. Because if rocks are up, you kill one thing, you switch into rocks, you kill one thing, and then they bring in their wall, and then if you switch out, you're dead when you come back in. Because if you're killing something, you're taking 75.
Yeah. Is it that high? What's the percentage?
Oh,
you take 50% of the damage you do to your 65 HP ass.
Yeah, it's a shit ton.
74. But...
Sorry, 74.
That's not the worst, but
it's pretty bad.
Usable.
I don't like Shiinotic's stats at all, but that's another.
Oh yeah, Shiinotic has bad stats.
Like...
They wanted Vileplume instead. I don't know what, like... I actually don't know what they were thinking when they made this mon. Why does it have 60 HP? Why didn't you just give this thing 120 HP?
Then it would have been good.
It wouldn't have even been that good.
No, yeah. You would still rather use an Amoonguss.
Yeah, Amoonguss is better, like, objectively. In every way.
Like, this thing should have just gotten crazy HP for no reason. Well, for the reason of it not sucking. Anyways.
Letter grade.
B, probably. No offense to them.
I'm gonna go with B-.
I think I would say B- too, but, like, who knows? Now they're gonna beat us this week because I gave them a low.
Yeah, the curse, the prediction curse.
That's why I gave them a 5.
I truly believe any team can beat any other team.
Yeah, I do too.
With the right preparation.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think anyone is so bad of a drafter that they're unwinnable.
And that's another thing. Like I mentioned earlier, Jirachi is a thing. Like you can never like be out if your Jirachi's still up. Like, honestly.
Never forget the Volcarona versus Jirachi matchup.
Yeah.
That's a legend.
Okay, we're moving on, right?
Yeah.
All right, next is Tokyo Tentacruels. Jeff says, "Rate my team good, please." We'll try.
Jeff, your team
first
is
pick,
a UU sample team.
It's a UU sample team. First pick, Altaria M. It's UU right now, but it's S+ in drafts, and I think rightfully so. But even though it doesn't necessarily have the results to back it up, I wouldn't say Kevin and Jeff were like the first people in my mind when I thought of like the best team builders in draft. But maybe this is their chance to show us what they got, because Altaria M is definitely a chance to prove yourself as a good team builder.
What do you guys think of picking Swallow third?
I can understand.
I didn't like it.
No, but like I know Kevin likes Swallow. Like that's.
I
his
know,
thing.
but I'm pretty sure he's the only one on the Swallow train. Like he could have held off.
It's pretty good. It's like a normal type breaker. Could be physical or special.
It's a good.
But it's similar to Altaria, I think, because like you're either gonna run like the physical setup set, which is akin to like the Dragon Dance Altaria, or you're gonna run the Specs Hyper Voice set, which is like the Altaria Hyper Voice set.
Yeah, it's very straightforward, very linear. Sorry, like very predictable.
It's not even that it's linear; it's just that they already had a better version of Swallow.
Yeah, I guess.
I think in their trade-in, I think this Swallow is up there. Like I actually think you'd rather have the Pawniard than the Swallow if you could like upgrade. Like I'm saying, like if you have 20 points to upgrade something, I would upgrade the Swallow before I upgraded the Pawniard. Like I'd keep the dead weight and just make Swallow something actually worth a shit.
Like I can actually understand the logic behind the Pawniard, but the Swallow, I can see where you're coming from. I'm not trying to like roast the Pawniard. I kind of like it.
No, I'm fine with the Pawniard. Yeah, Jeff says he loves Swallow.
I think it's a good team. I like.
No, I definitely think it's a good team. I think Swallow was that was the only question mark I had.
I think like Tentacruels.
I don't underestimate this sexy bird. I had it like season 1 and 2 or something. It was not good.
I might be underestimating Swallow because like look at its attacking stats. Like doesn't seem usable at all.
Yeah, but like you add guts in, you add like boom burst.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's funny because last season, me and Kevin on one of the podcasts, we talked about this mon in extent, and I already forgot everything about it. But...
Yeah, no, I've had Toricus before. Swallow. Swallow was like the definition of it did a thing in randoms once, so I drafted it. That was my entire season 1 roster.
Togekiss is sick. I freaking love that mon.
Yeah, Togekiss is really, really good. I think like I had this mon. The last season I had this mon, I was actually doing awful with it until I stopped running the Paraflinch set, and then it was actually a god. It was actually like my favorite Pokemon on the team once I ran something with more IQ than 20.
Like, it's a good mon. It's just frustrating to play versus.
Well,
at
like
times.
it's not. You don't even have to like run that flinch set, Albert. Like
That's what I'm saying. When I
Yeah.
stopped running the flinch set, I was doing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, but like it's frustrating to play versus though.
I guess.
It's true. Because like you're always afraid of either the T wave or the straight up nasty plot.
Yeah.
It also gets defog. What gets defog on this? They've got Tentacruel for rapid spin,
And
then they've
Altaria.
got Altaria for defog, Swallow for defog, Togekiss.
Yeah, it's solid. It's solid as far as hazard removal goes.
Yeah.
But like then again, like this team, it didn't need the hazard removal that bad. Like, this thing, Swallow doesn't like rocks, Togekiss doesn't like rocks, but Swallow's bad anyways. You're never gonna bring it.
I'm of the opinion like health on Swallow doesn't matter because you're pretty much
Yeah.
gonna get one shot by everything, right? And
I think it matters for
Physical.
like literal like physical Swallow where you're Brave Bird recoiling yourself and getting burned.
I guess. Yeah.
on physical Swallow, you probably run Facade. Like, okay, never mind.
No, I know, but you run Facade and Brave Bird. The set is protect, Facade, Brave Bird, U-turn / quick attack.
Disregard what I said.
Their only psychic switch-in is Poniard, which is kind of feels bad, but
that's true. They do not like psychic on this team.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see anything else. I noticed like I need to like Pillowswine's been drafted before, and I don't think it ever did anything before, but like it could be good.
It's surprisingly thick. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's got 180-60 stats, or defensive stats. Gets Eviolite.
100% usable. Especially with thick fat. So.
It's got 100 attack.
Wait, hold on.
Can't be ignored.
Oh, they made Infernape their Z captain?
Yeah.
I thought Cobalion would be the better Z captain, but
I'll say Cobalion over Infernape.
The thing is, like, Infernape is better as a Z captain, but Infernape loses more when you have to run the Z crystal. Like if Infernape is like a 70 rated mon, or okay, if Infernape's like an 80 rated mon and Cobalion's like a 70 rated mon, making Infernape your Z captain boosts Infernape to like 85, when like boosting Cobalion with Z captain would put it up to like 80. So like they would have made Cobalion a better mon if it was their Z captain, comparatively to like how much better Infernape goes.
Yeah, I guess
like
for Cobalion with
I see what you mean, because Cobalion only has 90 attack, but with Infernape you could do like something like Nasty Plot on a turn and then nuke something with like a Z fire move or something.
Yeah.
And also like Infernape gets crazy coverage as well, so I can kind of understandable. So.
I think it's a good I would give this team a. I think you guys said B. You said B, Julian, for our team. I would probably give this a B. I would give this a B.
Give it a B plus.
Actually,
that's what I gave my team.
Yeah.
I think because I'm looking at like 6 mon. Like what 6 mons are you gonna bring? You're bringing Altaria, Infernape, Togekiss, Cobalion, Tentacruel, and then one of like Swallow, Piloswine, Vileplume, Poniard. Like but what are you missing from that team? Like Swallow doesn't fill any roles in that team.
Yeah.
Like Altaria fills every single role that Swallow would possibly want to do on that roster. So like I would have to bring Piloswine, Vileplume, or Poniard. Like on a hypothetical team of 6.
Yeah, but I think Togekiss and Altaria are just like so good that like it balances out. Like I think they're that good. I think they're really that good.
Altaria just has so many options.
Jeff, what is it? What role does Swallow fill that you need? Oh, it fills you up with joy.
It fills the joy.
Is it Piloswine or is it Piloswine? I think it's
Pilos. Pilo?
Piloswine. Like it's like a pile.
I think Jade says he thinks the premise was to just go for pure offense with mixed attackers rather than cores.
That
does sound like
not
something.
a bad idea.
So to me that means you're gonna bring Swallow and Altaria every game, and you're gonna swap their sets every game. So one game you're gonna bring Guts Swallow and Hyper Voice Altaria. Next game you're gonna bring Dragon Dance Altaria and Boom Burst Swallow.
Oh, that sounds not fun to play versus, but.
And everyone is in a 50-50, guessing as to what to switch into these mons, and that'll work with Altaria. That'll work. I give this a B. I think Altaria is too good to give it anything less than a B.
I'd always say B plus. I think it's a decent roster, although it totally is a sample team from UU.
Yeah, there's nothing higher than UU on this roster.
Yeah, it's a pure UU team.
Yeah, but I mean, S plus. That's like the highest honor in draft.
It's definitely gonna be a testament to their team building skills. Getting Altaria and Swellow to work on the same team with an Infernape Z captain is going to be what I look for the most, especially because like if you're not scarfing Infernape, hypothetically, if you're really if you scarf Cobalion, it does no damage, right? If you scarf Infernape, then you have no Zed. Like everything else is kind of slow besides Swellow.
Scarf.
So
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what this team does against like another hyper offensive. Like if this is hyper offensive, I'd like to see how well they do against another hyper offensive team. Because in a team that doesn't really give a shit about like your Altaria set, you just get run over. Because there's no mind games like with Altaria. Like they just hit you and you have nothing.
I also don't like. Do you think Infernape's good? Because like that's a hotly debated topic. I think like some people say it's not good. Some people say it's good.
I think Infernape is very good in terms of like team building. That's what I'm saying. Is like this roster in the right hands, it like would be fantastic. I just don't know if Jeff and Kevin specifically are like premier team builders. They need to bring out their big brains for this season. I think.
Like if we're being honest here, like if this was like a Brars team, I'd be a bit more scared. No offense.
Oh.
I know, but if we're rating the team, I definitely say B. Okay. If the Swellow was replaced with something like, how many points do they have? Do they actually use up? They have 10 Pokebank.
Yeah, 10.
What tier is Swellow? C plus?
Yeah, so they get 70 points. They get replaced with an A minus.
They could go to wait. Swellow's B plus?
No, C plus.
Yeah, C plus. So they go to a B minus mon, right?
But like I thought you got 20 points during midseason.
Yeah, you do midseason. I'm saying like on draft day if they picked up something besides the Swellow.
Oh.
Okay. If they just traded in for what's B plus or B minus.
I don't know.
Like what would I be more afraid of on this team? Like I'd probably be more afraid of a Ditto. Yeah. Like Hoopa C.
Yeah, Hoopa C is sick.
Hoopa C is good.
Typhlosion would I think they have Infernape. Whimsicott, bro.
They have not Shodok. What am I talking about?
Whimsicott.
Doublade if they wanted bulk or like bulk and setup at the same time. Honchcrow. No, they got too much flying actually. Mesprit, like Mesprit fits really well on this team because it's another like big brain team builder.
And they don't have
like Minior. Like honestly, Minior just a shell smash would have been scary. Rotom Cut to fill in some electric roles that they're missing.
Yeah.
I personally think there were better options than Swellow. But I mean, it was early in their draft. They weren't, I guess, I don't know if they just if they panic picked it or what.
I just think it's because like both players like it. That's pretty much it.
Probably.
Oh, Jeff.
I was so mad at Swellow. All right, we'll see. If Swellow's on this podium by the end of the season, I'll retire forever. That's a promise. That's.
Torpedo is better, but the Mega was taken.
Yeah. But Jeff wants you to look at the special attack stat from Vileplume. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
It's good, but like it looks like a bad mon.
That's Latias.
It's just like I think every single team has a steel type. And so you are forced to HP Fire on Vileplume. If your set is really Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, HP Fire, 110 special attack is all of a sudden not as scary as you want it to be because your like defense to back it up, or your speed to support it, and your defense to back it up are not that high.
Very sad.
So if you're really like putting this thing into a compression of an offensive Vileplume, then you're already in the hole.
Let's go to the next team.
Okay.
Jazz.
You like jazz? You like jazz?
Is
so
it
I guess
stall or like not?
I
think they were like I think the intention of this team was to just alternate between the most turtle mon they could think of and then the most offensive mon they could think of. I mean, they just wanted to like that's what balance is, you know? We pick one super defensive mon, and then we pick one super offensive mon.
Yeah,
they just went down the list. Defensive, offensive, defensive, offensive. All right. Defensive, and then offensive, defensive, offensive, defensive. There you go.
Kamala's offensive.
Offense.
Yeah, 115 attack, bro.
True. I guess Toxapex is like Law's new thing.
Signature. Yeah, he ditched the Caesar and he picked up the Toxapex. He just loves this thing.
It gets knockoff now. Is that a big deal? Like someone on draft day said it wasn't a big deal, but
I would say it's not a big deal, but it's definitely something to look out for, especially because Laws prefers the physical Toxapex set over the special one because he says, "Hey, look, it's got 10 higher attack than special attack."
That's questionable.
And then he runs liquidation.
Yeah, every time I see that, I die a little bit inside.
Could you like say if you're stalling something, could you just liquidate it a bunch of times in a row and like would it actually eventually do work?
Yeah, you drop it, but I mean, like, if you're Toxapex and you get that many turns against something, the only time it's ever really relevant is if you're against like a poison type or a steel type that it has to be exclusively a poison type or a steel type that has recovery, because if you can toxic them, then you outstall them faster than liquidation, and if you can scald burn them and they don't have recovery and you can keep scalding them, then you outstall them faster than liquidation.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of poison types and steel types that have reliable recovery.
One thing I want to point out is their non-existent special attack. Like Thunderous is their only special attacker.
That's dead last.
And they picked Incarnate. I think. See, this is where I think the draft would have, been a little bit better than it was. I think if they picked Therian instead of Incarnate, this would have been a little bit better.
Like that is shockingly bad special attack. I don't think I've ever seen.
Shockingly bad. Oh, like overall.
Yeah,
it
overall.
Really
Like
bad.
I've
Nothing
never
is higher
seen
than
anything
75.
like that. That's
Outside
crazy.
Thunderous, nothing
Yeah.
is higher than 75, and that's Komala. For fuck's sake, it's Komala.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that is pretty garble. No matter how.
Cortana's gonna have a good time with this team. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, like so would something like a Togekiss or something. Like it just walls this team.
Yeah. Even like our Gardevoir would have a good time because nothing will.
That's
not much is
crazy. So if I were them, I would definitely drop something like I would maybe How many points is Hitmontop?
like 40.
That's B minus. It's B minus.
Oh shit, 50.
Yeah.
I would drop Hitmontop and get a good ass special attacker.
Yeah, there's some good ones in B
Then
and
they
B.
don't have hazard removal though. That's probably why they got it. But like, actually, they do need it for Beedrill.
Well, like they could put Defog on their Thundy. Nick says he will never run it attack. He won't let Laws run attack.
On Doxapex. Well, like you don't.
Okay, thank you.
You don't think of the attack stat when you put knockoff on Toxapex.
No,
like
no.
in my opinion, knockoff plus
No, it's
regenerator is it's good. So I think it's relevant at least.
But like liquidation's not a good.
No, I would not run liquidation in my opinion.
Yeah, Scald is like objectively better in almost every scenario.
It's not true. I'm still trying to think of a steel type that gets reliable recovery that Toxapex would actually want a liquidation. And it's not Jirachi, because Jirachi's going to Zen Headbutt you.
I don't know.
The stall core is super strong against
Maybe
most teams that we
Celesteela. I don't know.
Doesn't really get reliable.
It doesn't get recovery, but like I don't know. It could leech seed you, and then you might have to wear it down.
So the stall core of Toxapex, Brionne, and then Thunderous.
Like
Sizor.
Wait, what?
Sizor. That's something.
Instead of him on top?
No, I mean like you're asking for a steel type reliable recovery. Sorry, it just like popped into my head.
Oh, would you rather
No,
liquidation
you'd wanna
rather
burn
than
it.
burn a Sizor?
Never.
Is Sizor at +6 if it's burned gonna do anything to your Toxapex?
Yeah, no. Like I'm not trying to argue for that. It's just like you're asking for an example and like.
I was saying that is that's the base requirement of finding something that Toxapex would rather liquidation. And then once you find an example, you then have to think about it.
yeah.
And so Sizor, I'd say no, because if you get Skull Burned, even if you're at +6, you are not going to do damage to a Toxapex.
I think Sizor's the only steel type that gets reliable recovery outside of Skarmory. Oh, Skarmory and Sizor are the only two, I think.
Okay, maybe it would be Skarmory. Wow.
No, because
You'd rather burn the Skarmory too.
Like in a 1v1, yeah, you'd probably rather want to liquidation the Skarmory just to kill it, even though you outstall it.
I don't even know if it'll like. I guess.
But it's just like against if they happen to bring 5 other Pokemon, if they happen to like remember that they have 5 other Pokemon slots, then Scald is probably bad. That's what I think.
No, liquidation's trash can.
I gotta
Caesar. Oh, do you say Caesar?
I think it's
I say
Sizor.
Caesar. I say I interchange. I would have said Caesar if Albert didn't say it first, but then my brain
I
just
say
said
Scizor, like scissors. Scizor.
I think Sizor.
Nick says Scald is always better. Wait, we're thinking of an example.
Thank you,
It's nothing is wait, what was the term? Objectively? No.
Nick. Objective.
Yeah, nothing is objectively better than anything else.
Yeah, like or absolutely better or that wasn't the term, was it objectively?
It
No.
was objective, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
strictly.
Strictly, yeah.
Sorry, strictly.
Nothing is strictly.
Julian says my favorite thing about this team is Pex plus Umbreon. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's just like it's so passive that if anything, okay, like most strong psychic types carry Focus Blast, and I know Umbreon is like crazy specialty, but you're gonna get Focus Blasted, and you're gonna have to pray for some misses.
I don't think that matters unless it's a fighting type. I don't think
You don't think? You don't think a Reuniclus Focus Blast hurts Umbreon? You don't think a Mega Zam Focus Blast 2-hit KOs Umbreon?
There's no way
Doubt
to
it.
hit KOs.
I actually doubt it. Hold up, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the calc.
Are
But
you gonna do max? Are you doing max specialty Umbreon?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's. Oh yeah, definitely 2 KOs. Max specialty? 49 to 59? Jesus.
wow,
Uh-huh.
that's pretty nuts.
Uh-huh.
I don't like this team. It has no special attackers. Like that's just.
I don't hate this. I don't hate this team. I think it's because its main objective is to annoy the enemy into winning. if your enemy doesn't prep for you, and they're forced to scramble to find an answer, they're gonna panic and they're gonna fuck up one turn, and Toxapex is gonna scald something important, or Toxapex is gonna escape a situation and get its regenerator off, or Umbreon's gonna get a wish pass off, or Beedrill's gonna get a safe switch in, and then you're just choked. You're honestly choked.
It's just
Like you literally choked.
Like that's all. It's just made to piss people off.
Yeah, I think I actually going back to the real thing that I thought of, or that I think they drafted was just tilting other people. Their primary draft was tilt.
Yeah,
Umbreon is definitely a tilting one.
Yeah, I hate Umbreon. It would tilt me. I'm not too scared of it. I just don't like playing versus it. I'd give this.
Maybe that's why they picked the Incarnate over the Therian, because they saw Prankster and they're like, yeah, that's way more annoying. Let's pick that.
I give it like a B-, honestly. No offense, but like, it's a pretty matte draft.
He found the line. Yeah, they just wanted to annoy their opponents into death.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, what is super fast, or okay, what is Thunderous Eye as a Zed captain gonna want to use Prankster for? And the answer is, I don't know. It's gonna want to run Thunderwave on its Zed Crystal set, or just not run Zed Crystals.
It could do like Tailwind or something.
Yeah, like Z Tailwind, Z Rain Dance, plus Thunder.
Right, because you Z Tailwind, and then you get +1 speed, right? Or no, Tailwind gives you crit rate, right?
Yeah.
And then it puts you up to what, 50% crit rate?
Yeah.
Okay. Or you could draft Thunderous Therian, and you could Agi, and then you're double speed forever, and your special attack is so much higher that you could actually run Life Orb and probably do as much damage as a crit with Thunderous Incarnate. You also get Volt Absorb.
Do you think they should have done like T-Tar Mega instead of Beedrill?
No, I think Beedrill's fine. Because you're gonna okay. The only thing is I think they picked up Regirock because they're like, oh fuck, we're 6 picks in and we don't have Stealth Rocks, and then they typed Rock into Showdown, and the first thing that came up was Regirock, and they're like, yeah, we're taking it. Yeah.
No, I feel like just like Law's bad memories of Tyranitar Mega. That's one of the reasons he doesn't use it. He's got
Maybe.
I think it would be an annoying mon with the Sandstorm chip and like.
I think so too, but I think Tyranitar, like, if you replace Beedrill, you need something to like instantly do damage, because nothing else on this team instantly does damage besides maybe Sneasel and maybe a banded Komala. Nothing else on this team actually like instantly threatens. And a Tyranitar, you kind of want to de-dance on that thing. You don't really want to just instantly. Beedrill is like one mon where it's like I'm just always hitting something.
Yeah.
Because the other 10 mons on this roster don't do damage on turn 1 ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think Beedrill was fine.
I would give this draft a B-.
Yeah, I agree with you already, but yeah.
What do you think, Julian?
They say T-Tar can't fizz damage. We needed to be... T-Tar can't fizz damage.
Yeah, it can.
Whoa.
Wait.
I think T-Tar has like 140 attack, doesn't it?
T-Tar's like faced like 170. No way, but like
No.
it's got really high. 164.
Is it 164?
Attack? Yeah. It's
Oh,
stupid.
it is, yeah, okay.
And it's bulky, and it chips them, and I don't know.
Yeah, T-Tar definitely does do damage. It just doesn't like... You know, if you're going to instantly do damage, you're still not fast enough.
I don't think they really needed that U-turn either, because like they
Like,
just
the
have
rest of the mons are momentum killers.
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
They're momentum killers, but like, I think what they want, what they kind of wanted to do. Okay, maybe I probably would have replaced him on top with a better rocker, like a B tier rocker, and then this, like the point of this draft is kind of like I'm gonna set up as many hazards as possible and just sit there and make them defog, and then I get free U-turns all the time, and I never have to clear my own rocks because they're just gonna be defogging constantly.
All
I
right.
don't know. That's what I think.
Did you give a rating, Julian?
No, I'll say B-.
Okay. So
I think the games that this team wins is going to be because of their I think this roster is completely dependent on the opponent making mistakes. I think there's a very hard skill ceiling to this draft, and I think Laws and Ranger are going to hit that ceiling pretty quickly, and they're going to say, all right, well, we pretty much like beat this draft to death. There's not much else we can explore with it, so we're just going to have to hope people either don't have answers for it or tilt because of it.
yeah. It's
Like,
gonna
Really,
be
like
fun.
after 8 weeks, or sorry, after 4 weeks when we've all played each other once, is anybody gonna go into week 5, play this team, and be surprised? And I'm not trying to say anything, but I don't think anyone is gonna get surprised by this roster past week 4.
Outside like Choice Scarf, Komala, that's about like the only thing that might be surprising. in my
Someone
opinion.
might get caught.
I
off
would
by, like,
expect Choice Scarf Komala. It's either banded or scarfed, or I don't care.
maybe like a Swords Dance Sneasel, maybe.
Oh, what Sword Stands to Violite Sneasel?
Well,
Not a Val yet, but yeah. Okay, let's just go to Julian's team.
Okay. Julian, do you want to like talk to us about your team? Cause like.
Yeah, okay, so we had a couple different drafts planned. Jeff says I'm rude because I'm so harsh. No, I think the team is fine. I think their team is fine. I just think it like has a skill ceiling, and I think it's hard to push that draft past its limit. So I think if people are prepared, it's going to be hard to it's going to be frustrating to play with that team, and it's going to be frustrating to play against that team because both players know exactly what's happening. It's just in terms of like how the game plays out determines the match. It has less to do with like the players actually playing and more to do with just like what buttons each player's playing, you know? Which I guess, no shit, that's Pokemon. Anyways. Yeah, so my draft, we had a couple different drafts in mind. All of our drafts that we had in mind, all of them included Kartana. And sometimes Kartana was planned to be our Z user. If it was our Z user, it was going to be in our core. And if it wasn't our Z user, it was going to be like the position 4, like half defog support, half beast boost sweeper, like possible choice scarf, possible swords dance, you know, like just like the filler sweeper sort of thing. And so we were planning on like Mew was our first draft, like our first draft idea, and we knew that like we wanted this mon, and we didn't think it was going to get sniped because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
So but we thought Kartana was going to get sniped if we didn't first pick it because this mon is what A something?
A plus, yeah.
A plus.
And it's very
We think
undervalued.
We think this mon has potential to be higher tiered, especially if it's Z captained. I don't think we're going to showcase this thing at S- potential, but I think it definitely has S- potential, which is why we wanted to pick it up first, because we think that people would have gone for it either because of value or just because it's a good mon. So we wanted to pick this first, even though like if we got like if like this was pretty much the draft that we wanted. We only got sniped half a pick with Sylveon. We wanted Togekiss instead, and even then Sylveon is like still fine, we think. But if we got like this exact roster that we wanted, then Kartana wasn't even going to be in our core. It was going to be the support sweeper, like I said. But we needed to first pick it because if it got sniped, we actually had no other mon to replace this. And so we first picked it, and we were saying like, okay, if Mew gets sniped now, then we'll go with like Mega Altaria, or sorry, or like if Garchomp gets sniped, then we'll go with like Mega Zard X or something, right? Like we had backups, but like we didn't have a backup for Kartana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys like didn't first pick Megachomp, because from what I remember, lots of people wanted that.
Yeah, that was the other thing, is that if we first picked Megachomp, we had to also get Kartana, because Kartana was like the one mon we wanted to support our Chomp if we were gonna like put Chomp in our core, right? And also like like if we picked Chomp first and Kartana got sniped sometime in between our first and second picks, our draft was just like kind of fucked, and we didn't really have anything.
Yeah. No.
So
like Kartana's like, I think Kartana is one of those mons that I think is S- and is under tiered, and Garchomp Mega at A+ is kind of a joke.
Oh yeah, okay. Garchomp is definitely going up to S- by next season. Not because we have it, but because like I've been calling for it to be S- for like a long time, and a lot of people agree. But we barely didn't get enough traction to put it in S-. I don't think Kartana is going to move up to S-. I think it is an S- mom, but it's going to take someone putting it at their Z captain to move it up, kind of like Zerk.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that you guys didn't put Kartana as your Z captain, just because, like, Mew is so versatile.
What the fuck?
No, like,
Mew. What the?
Mew is like so versatile. It doesn't need a Z crystal. Is my point.
Yeah, but then Mew gets like unanswerable if you put it on Z captain. Like Kartana has sets that you can run without Z. Like, and Kartana, what we said is like on this roster, Kartana's like our position 4, so it doesn't even need the Z crystal.
Like it's actually just a straight support mon.
It's not straight support. It's position 4. It's support sweeper. So like it's kind of like late game answer.
Would that be like position 3? I don't know. I don't follow Dota too much.
No, our position 3 is speaking.
I was gonna mention that like last season you made Zerk do work, and now like I don't know. Who knows? Like I don't think you didn't build around Zerkatry last season, did you?
I absolutely built around it. Did I draft around it? Is what you're asking?
Yeah, because you're saying right now that like Kartana is not going to be your main focus, and you don't think you'll make it look like an S- mon. But yeah. Like, didn't you say something similar with Zerkatry?
I don't remember what I said with Zerkatry, but you're right in the sense that like on draft day, I wasn't planning on drafting Zerkatry, but I looked at my roster, and I said like, because that was the season I got like sniped from Suicune, so I had to like go to one of my backup plans. Like I wasn't planning on drafting like that at all. But I noticed like something was missing from my draft, and I didn't have like a clear Z captain yet, so I just like kind of on the fly decided to pick up Zerkatry, and it just ended up being like when I Z captained it, like that's when I really went into like the strange Z moves that I could run, and like how I could support Zerkatry, because like when I put it as my Z captain, I kind of felt obligated to run it as my Z, because I don't think Zerk's Scarf is like good enough. Like especially on the roster that I had last season, Scarf Zerk wasn't good enough, and so I had to find a way to like give it the points that that I needed it to get, and it just so happened that like the only way I could do that is if I moved it up to position 1, and so like Suicune took a backseat to it that season.
Another thing I wanted to say about Mew Z captain, like I kind of agree with Albert. Like I don't think it needs the Z, because like you would only really use a Z crystal, I imagine, if you're going offensive Mew, and I don't think offensive Mew is like that good.
Like I think offensive Mew is super good. I think like okay, well, so the logic is like if offensive Mew is worse than defensive Mew, then what does a Z crystal like mean for that? It means that like offensive Mew is approaching to or on a similar power level of defensive or support Mew, in which case it gives you 2 or 3 different types of Mews that can be brought every game, each of which needs to be prepped for accordingly.
But like,
And
I don't
that...
think... Sorry.
Wait, sorry? You don't need... You were going to say you don't need to prep for, like, offensive Mew?
No, I was going to say, like, I don't think offensive Mew requires a Zcash.
I don't think so either. I think, like, Double Dance Mew is good enough with like, any other item.
Yeah, just, like, two attacks without a Z crystal is fine, in my opinion. Especially because you guys have, like, what, just, like, regular crystals now?
So. Yeah. I think this mon, like, this is, like, the biggest brain mon in the entire draft, besides... I don't know what else would be big brain. I think Kecleon's really big brain, but I think, but that's like the big brain meme where like it's like small brain is like drafting Silvally, and then like medium brain is like drafting Mew, and then like or no, other way around. Sorry, small brain is like drafting Mew, medium brain is like drafting Silvally, and then like huge brain is drafting Kecleon, and it's like getting blown back.
Yeah,
that's the meme. But yeah. I think Mew like is gonna hopefully shine this season. We're gonna find some interesting sets to bring. We're gonna find some interesting support for it, and hopefully it does what it needs to do, because it is our position 1 wholeheartedly.
Do you
think?
Being
honest,
sorry, go ahead.
No, like if we're being honest, this is the scariest draft, like across all 8 teams. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think just because honestly, I think your best Pokemon is Suicune. Like, it's so hard to take down, and like any team with Suicune is gonna be good and hard to prep.
I think the thing that makes Suicune, especially like the thing that always makes Suicune scary, are the mons that accompany it on the roster, and the fact it's like if you hard commit to taking down Suicune, you're gonna have such a hard time answering Mew and Chomp and Kartana. Like if you commit all your resources to Suicune, you're investing into like something like a Specs Electric type, or like a Swords Dance Grass type, or some shit like that, right? And then all of those things have a hard time responding to like the mons we have in the back.
Yeah, Mars, like when the scariest mon on the team is Suicune, that's pretty terrifying considering. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying considering they have Mew, Garchomp, and Kartana, and not to mention Sylveon. So like, yeah, it's kind of scary.
I think what a lot of games with this roster is going to be just like straight breaking the other team and trying to force them to sack their Suicune answers, and then mid to late game, Suicune comes in and cleans up, which is why I said Suicune is like the position 3. But like Kartana is also going to have a similar role, where it's like if we just have so much oppressive shit on our team that you have to sack multiple answers, Kartana like 9 times out of 10 is just going to come in on turn 12, and you're just going to be like, well, I stacked my 2 walls already to like use Z moves, so what the fuck do I do against this thing? And then you have to sack something else to Kartana, and then Suicune comes in, and you're like, all right, well, fuck me, right?
Yeah. It's so hard.
That's kind of the. I think that's what I see with this roster when I look at it.
Like if I had one criticism, I'd be like, it's min max, but like that's not really much of a criticism.
See, I think it's like I would agree when I say it's min max, but if you look at like, so if you're gonna assume that I bring Kartana, Garchomp, Mew, Suicune, Sylveon,
yeah,
my last mons are like Miltank, which is a fast like para machine that gets rocks and recovery and can set up, or I bring Liepard, which is a prankster T-Wave Encore mon, or I bring Carbink, which is a screens explosion mon, or I bring Glalie, which is whatever, spikes, explosion, haunt, ice shard, the like. Like, is there any mon that you want me to have? Like, is there any, like, there's no mons on this team that I put in position 6 that you, like, forget about.
Yeah,
like, if you don't prep for these mons, they're gonna actually do work.
Like, I'm terrified of
Miltank. You never want to see that from a position 6. You don't want to be like, well, fuck me, I didn't bring an answer to the Carbink, and here it is. Right? Like that's the most feels bad thing you can ever have, is when their worst mon is the mon that's going to put in work.
That's funny. That happened to me versus you the season I had Kieran B, and you had Comfy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, also one other note, I think your team's a little bit slow, even though you have like 4 100 or aboves, but like I think
there's nothing oppressively fast on the team.
No. and like I don't like Liepard doesn't care about its speed that much, and Milk Tank it's a support mon, so the speed is a nice bonus, but like it's not gonna be like revenge killing things. Um, so yeah, that's maybe like the honestly that's probably my biggest complaint about the team. I think it's a really good team otherwise.
I think if we're revenge killing things, like if we're revenge killing and not sweeping on the revenge, I think we're doing something wrong. I think if any like one of the scariest things about this roster is that if you kill something, you have to be damn sure that the revenge can't just set up on you for free, right? Because like if you kill the Kartana with like a special fire move, can you answer Suicune revenging and just calm mining right there? And then if you HPI's Garchomp, can you answer Suicune coming in or whatever? If you like drop a Draco on Garchomp, can you really answer Sylveon coming in and calm mining as well? Like shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you spam a grass move on Suicune, can you answer Kartana coming in with a Scarf? It all comes down to that.
All right.
Anyways, we can move on.
As far as the other grades go, I'd give it like an A, honestly. Terrifying roster.
I don't know. I'll give it a B plus. I don't know if I'll give anyone an A, honestly.
Harsh.
I like the team. Like Sylveon's a Pokemon we haven't talked about a lot, but I think it's a really good Pokemon too. So like that's probably the mon that like bumped it up for me. But fine, I'll give it an A minus.
I think Sylveon is like on this team, out of the Pokemon that I'm like quote unquote forced to bring, I think Sylveon is the most dead. Like not because it's bad, but because it's not congruent with our like the play style that this roster really wants to do. It's kind of like it's kind of the tempo killer. And this like when you look at this roster, this is just 100% tempo, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like what Suicune loses us in tempo, it gains back with sweeping potential. And Sylveon, I think personally loses the same amount of tempo as Suicune, maybe a little bit more because it doesn't have Scald Burn chance. But like Sylveon doesn't gain back very much tempo by itself. It has to like get the Wish support off or the Heal Bell support off or something. So it takes like Sylveon is the only mon here that like takes a turn to do something. You know?
Yeah, but I was gonna say.
Or takes a turn to like reimburse itself, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I don't like Wish support, generally speaking. Like, it's not a playstyle I play, but I think one thing that your team, due to, like, Mew's natural bulk and, like, Garchomp's natural bulk and even Kartana's, like, defensive bulk, like, you could very easily Wish pass with this team and, like, do it successfully because Garchomp can easily come in and take a hit from, like, any neutral hit. Like, it's not going to get O-code by a neutral hit. So I think Wish passing is good on this team.
Just like
also, like you still have to be wary of like the specs hyper voice set as well.
Yeah. Sorry, Albert, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, one more thing is just the people on this team.
Oh yeah.
This is the most busted team there is. Like straight up.
Like I didn't really care about like rankings when I picked a teammate, but like Julian, did you just choose like the GOAT like just on because he's the best? Or you guys?
I wanted Albert, and then you and Albert said you guys were teaming together. And so I was like, well, fuck me. And then I looked at like who was left. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to team with a Brar, but like we kind of had like a silent, like no mod team pact. Because like that feels kind of scummy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so we didn't make a mod team. And so like out of the rest of my options, I was just like, like I'm not trying to throw shade here, but I don't think anyone else would like appreciate my team building. Like when I build a team, like I start off with some like avant-garde shit. Like I go down to like usually like on my first draft of a team, I have like 3 usually useless moves on that team, and I have to like I have to justify to myself. I have to say, is this really better than just like is this fucking like after you? Okay, never after you because that doesn't actually do anything. But like, is this attract really better than just putting a stab move on this thing? And I have to like think about it. And I have to be like, all right, maybe I just go with like more standard.
Maybe that's the key to being good at this game. Like,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like I start with like the least or like the worst option, and I try and say like okay, what is like okay, not really, but like when I think of options and like when I have a set, I'm just kind of like, what does this want to accomplish on this team? And is there anything else that fills that role better? Like, obviously, it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, I could have 2 stab moves on this Mon, but if I replace this stab move, I get this move that'll support me in a more likely situation. And so is that worth it instead of just having raw power? Like, what am I ever going to use this raw power for, as opposed to, like, what am I going to use this support for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is why I really like Defog Kartana. Because, like, obviously, if you say, wow, it's got 181 attack, why wouldn't you just hit things with it? Like, well, sometimes Defog is better.
Let's go to the next team because we're already
Sure.
recorded for over an hour and 15 minutes.
Sorry.
I'm surprised you wanted me, but I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anyone else, like, chose me high on their list. I have no idea, but because I just kind of zeroed in on Albert. But the next team, I'll be honest, I don't remember what team this is. Like,
It's a
Brampton BuzzSWOLES.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tapu Koko,
It's-
Metacham, from what I hear.
Scary. It's a fucking scary
God
team.
combo.
It's a really fucking scary team. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what I don't find wavy? The fact that
What?
it's got Stealth Rocks, Sticky Webs, and a Bisharp to punish your defogs. And a Spin Blocker, and Toxic Spikes. So, like...
Yeah, I think one of the shining... One of the things I think is, like, the best that I've seen in this roster is that they made Tapu Koko the Zed captain, which to me means that it's not going to be Volt Switch as often as it would otherwise be, which means that this team gives no fucks about hazards. Like, this team does not give a shit about your rocks. It makes you defog, which Bisharp capitalizes on, right? Araquanid doesn't give a fuck about rocks because its only job is to set up sticky webs and then die. Not really die, but, like, I don't see a situation in which Araquanid is going to run AV these guys. I think it's going to be like fucking Mystic Water almost every game, if not like sometimes Banded if they really don't need webs. But like
Banded, yeah.
I don't think probably Banded because they want the webs, and
yeah.
I think they want to. I think like Araquanid will be better for them if they lead webs it and then just let it die, and then okay, maybe not let it die, but like switch it out. I don't know, something like that. But like this, like what I'm trying to say is that this team doesn't really care about rocks, and it makes you burn turns on defogging. And there's very few mons on this roster I want to waste a turn against. Like if I waste a turn and Metacham just gets to start hitting things, I lose. If I waste a turn against Tapu Koko and it Zed moves or it Zed boosts or like just like regular boosts up and has Zed move online, then I fucking lose. If I like defog against Araquanid and it like all of a sudden has like it has banned and I didn't anticipate it and it banded liquidations me, I fucking lose. Like, you know?
Yeah. And like I think one thing that's very telling about their playstyle is look at their speed stat. It's dead last, but they don't care because they have webs, and they're gonna force you to defog, and everything on their team capitalizes on defog.
I think.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, you go. Don't apologize. I interrupted you.
But like they have some semi trick room bullshit with that Kofag pick. Like fuck that.
Yeah.
And like, you can ask Abrar about this, but Drampa is terrifying because like, sure it's got shit speed, but like, base 135 special attack, Hyper Voice, choice specs, really like Hyper Voice, Draco, Fire Blast, Surf. That is pretty decent. Not gonna lie.
Nick says makes me defog. He's the roster that I said is the one roster that will never have to defog. It'll make everyone. Nick's roster does make you defog more than this one, but like this roster kind of punishes you. Like, what the fuck is a Toxapex Umbreon core to a Mega Metacham?
Yeah.
Holy.
Megacham bobs that. Super.
Holy.
Against this roster, I never want to defog.
I think
you're gonna have to bring like HP Flying Thunderous Incarnate to kill this Metacham.
I think Gligar will be an underrated U-turn core with Tapu Koko as well. Like, it's pretty good. I think Gligar. But one thing that baffles me is Gothitelle. Like, why did they do that?
Like 10 points. Come on.
I would have said Behem any day over the Gothitelle. Wait, is Behem higher than 10?
I think it's 15 now.
Oh, is Behem 15?
They could have done
they had 5 points. If Behem is D, I would have said Behem all the way. Helps your trick room so much.
They could have done Duizion, which also is a trick room.
I remember talking to Martin about this on draft day. I was like, why didn't they just pick Behem or Duosion? Like, I don't think Remnant and Carnveer are like, they're not low tier players. I think they're both like they're both more familiar with high tiers.
So I think like when we got to the low tiers, they're kind of like, yeah, Blossom, it's got Quiver Dance. Like,
Is that why they took it?
Gothitelle.
Did a
It's a
thing on
second
I was about
setup.
to ask why they took Blossom.
It's the only setup I see on this team, so I would say yes. I would say they took this because they didn't have any other forms of setup.
I mean, like SD Bisharp and Calm Mind Coco are probably the other ones.
Nasty Pot,
Like,
Coffee
Nasty Taco Fag, yeah, I was gonna say. But like,
No,
I know
but
Gar likes Calm Mind Coco, but I don't like it. It's bad. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say like I don't think it's a playstyle they'll be focusing on. Setting up.
Oh, Jeff says they lost track of points, so they had to go back. Okay, so yeah, so maybe it's not that they're like unfamiliar with low tiers. It's just like they were flustered because like they ran out of points.
Yeah.
Or no, they didn't run out of points. They thought the cap was like 450, and when it's actually 475. So they got to like this point, and I think they just had like a lot of like they had like 25 more points than they thought.
That's why they took
Something like
Licky
that?
Licky.
That's why they took Licky Licky because like they just had to fill. Yeah, so Gothitelle was picked because they thought they only had 450.
Okay, that kind of sucks.
Well, I mean, like that's for trade-in. Yeah, you'd probably just like I don't see Blossom ever getting a Quiver Dance off. To be honest with you, it's gonna be in my eyes a 75% sleep machine. And
Like, with 50 speed though. So like,
I don't think they're ever gonna bring it. I think Gothitelle. Actually, no. Okay, well, Blossom's if Gothitelle's D minus, then Blossom's D. So maybe you just trade in Blossom for something, like D. Or you can trade into a C minus.
yeah, you can trade 2 in at once, right? So you trade in Blossom.
Oh, that's true. They have 10. They have 10 ones. You're right. They can trade in Gothitelle and Blossom.
Yeah, these two plus 5 plus 20 that they're gonna receive at mid season. So
Oh yeah, it's 20 points. Yeah.
they can get like what, a B with that? I don't know. Is my math off?
Do you guys think? Sorry.
No. I'm doing the math. You go.
Do you guys think Araquanid and Cofagrigus are mons that they're gonna bring more often than not?
Yeah.
Because like,
I think so.
I think the Cofagrigus is going to be brought more than the Drampa. So
It's
yes.
gonna be their top 6, like in order.
you think
Those
so?
6. Yeah.
You think Gligar's going to be? Or sorry, you think Cofagrigus is going to be brought more than Bisharp?
No, I think
No.
these 6 that I'm highlighting here.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
Oh,
in
in order.
in
Yeah,
order.
Sorry, that's
Like
not
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you just meant like the top 6 are the 6
top
most.
6. Yeah, I don't know why I said in order. That makes no sense.
Yeah, the in order threw me off, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's a bold
Like,
prediction.
looking back at it, it threw me off too.
I'm
I
not.
mean, it wasn't that bold. It was just the Bisharp that was out there.
I'm not 100% sold on Cofagrigus and Araquanid. Like, I know it's brought for the webs, but I don't know. Just something about like building their team around Cofagrigus. I just don't think it's good enough, and I think it's a little bit passive. I guess the Toxic Spike is nice, but like they don't really have anything to stall on poison anyways, except for Gligar.
Yeah.
Like the thing is that Metacham's one weakness, which is being too slow, is immediately overridden by the webs. So the only thing that's going to beat this roster is stuff that either can prevent webs from ever getting set up or doesn't care about webs at all, which is looking like, I don't know, like a Doublade roster, which nobody has a Doublade.
Yeah.
But I see Doublade putting in work against this team.
Metacham has like Fire Punch too, so like that's a
Fire Punch does fuck all.
It's probably 2 at KO's Doublade. Metacham
I don't
is
think
stupid,
I don't
bro.
think so at all.
Metacham is completely.
I think Doublade wins 1v1 against Metacham.
Yeah. Like, but it can't switch in on a Fire Punch though.
You can switch it on anything else. So you have to predict something switching in. Metacham's
Fire Punch does.
go for
I think
it.
it
Oh wow,
can
you're
switch
right.
in.
It does 39 and 47.
Yeah, it doesn't do a lot.
It's not-
Doublade's
Doublade
like
is really tanky.
Doublade's sick, dude. It's
I
got
like
crazy
Doublade.
D.
I wanted it.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So
Sorry,
like
Mark.
this roster, like if you've got a flyer, if you've got a levitator
Yeah.
above 130 speed, I don't think that even exists. A levitator above 130 speed. Okay, but like Mega Dactyl is gonna hurt this team a lot. So I think you guys don't really care about the webs.
We also have
in
our own
particular.
webs, kind of. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
was
if we'll
gonna
bring
say.
them.
Hey, you got your Rabombi.
If I were
Um,
playing this, I would bring Rabombi and try to get webs up turn 1.
it's either like super fast stuff that doesn't get affected by webs, or like super wall breaker teams. Like I think my roster as well is like just heavy on the wall breakers, and so like I can take hits and then kill in return,
Julian,
which I think is going to be a big asset against this roster.
Julian, you can pretty much lead Choice Scarf, Kartana, click Leaf Blade, and pretty much win the game right there.
I'm pretty sure Suicune and Mew wall this team as well.
Suicune does not wall a Medicham unless I bring Vincoon, and like Vincoon feels pretty fucking bad against webs, but I could turn one it.
Like a max defense Suicune can take a Medicham on.
It takes one, but it doesn't like it doesn't get to boost up. It has to just fish for Scald Break. I don't switch into a Cham in any world.
Nothing.
Not an Electric Train as well. They could easily have Thunder Punch. Electric Train.
It'll have Thunder Punch, but I'm gonna do these calcs for you real quick, and I'm gonna show you how much I hate Mega Medicham.
Okay, but you have Mew on your team. That's like the hardest Medicham
I hate
in the game.
Medicham.
Like, I totally get it, because huge power is stupid, but like,
huge power is the dumbest ability I've ever seen in my entire life. If I could remove one thing from the game, it would be abilities that double stats for no reason.
It's so lazy.
It's actually the laziest shit I've ever seen. High jump kick does 57.1 to 67.5 to a max HP, max defense Suicune.
Yeah,
57
is stupid.
57 min, 67 max.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Thunder Punch does 44 to 52. You don't even need the terrain up.
I'm like,
you 2-hit KO me in terrain, but if you HJK on the switch, you can Thunder Punch, and I think it has like a 90-something% chance to kill with leftovers.
I just don't think it's gonna be too scary for you in particular.
Oh, me specifically? Like on my roster? No, my roster has ways to deal with that. That's what I was saying. It's like the thing with my roster is that like almost like I don't think there's a single Mon on this roster that can OHKO my cores.
No.
And so I just return kill them. Like, does an Ice Punch even kill Garchomp? Let me check.
Do you guys like Bisharp?
No, not in draft.
No, I dislike it in draft quite a bit.
I don't like it.
Martin, I told you.
Oh my god, Ice Punch does kill Garchomp.
Yeah, it does. Martin, I told you about team building. I was like, you're paying 75 points for a knockoff machine. That's pretty fucking feels bad. I think I'd use those exact words.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It was that for a Weevil. Do you guys want to give a letter grade and move on?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll say, yeah, I was gonna say B. I'll say B, just because I would have liked to see more synergy with the webs. Like the only thing that really benefits from webs, I think, is Cham. Like Gligar going first is not gonna matter. Bisharp will like probably get to go first, but like you already pseudo go first with Sucker Punch. The Bisharp's real synergies with the Defog. So I'll say B. I would have liked to see more web synergy. Just like a Volcanion would have been so fucking good on this team.
Or like, I think Keldeo would be nice over Bisharp maybe.
Keldeo would have been nice, you're right.
I think
Like the same sort of thing, you know, like bulky, high special attack Watermon with like a secondary stab. I think the Keldeo, like you repeat 2 stabs, which isn't the best thing ever. They are different. Like, well, Secret Sword is like technically physical too. So, I think I like the Volcanion more personally.
I like Primarina on this team actually.
Yeah,
Primarina's pretty nice, but like, Primarina has a Scarf Sat. Like, you can specs it though if webs are up. It's still kind of slow.
Primarina is like terrifying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like Specs Volcanion would have been sick. Like, what could like because they have extra mod, right? I know they didn't think this was points, but like, if you replace like Bisharp, Cofagrigus, is that with the 5 extra Pokebank points, can you get a Volcanion? Volcanion's what, A+?
A minus?
A minus.
Oh, A minus Volcanion? Yeah, Bisharp's what, B+?
A.
Oh, what the
Yeah, that's what I was 75 points.
That's
for a
why
knockoff machine.
Replace that Bisharp with a Volcanion, bruh.
Like, ridiculously feels bad.
Anyways,
then
let's move on.
I'll give her B+. Because I think Medicham is just godlike.
Oh, Ethan's team. This is the one we sniped pretty hard.
Are these really the mods he chose? Barberco and Volby? The memes are here. I just want to say right off the bat, feels bad Zedcat.
No, he changed it.
Wait, what?
No, it doesn't matter. Like, there's nothing on this team that I would want.
What do you mean he changed it? Oh, because it was Barbarical.
It used to be Barbarical, yeah.
No, I know, but even Necrozma's like feels bad.
Necrozma's like considerably better of a Z captain.
Is it?
Like, Barbarical, really?
This team is scary. I play him this week. Just always pressured.
I like the Arcanine with Scizor combo. That's pretty obvious, but like it's good. Also, Arcanine can take ice moves for Gliscor.
I do like that. Oh, he's doing the Abrar core, Scizor and Gliscor. So you have a fire weakness and an ice weakness, but you're forced to cover for one of the HP ices, right?
Right.
You can't run both HP ice and HP.
Neither of my cores can take their 4 times weakness. Like these guys, like Scizor lives in HP fire, and Gliscor lives in HP ice.
Yeah.
Garchomp doesn't usually live in HP ice, and Kartana will never live in HP fire.
Yeah, Kartana dies
to Ariados. Ariados in Power Fire.
Never forget. No, but like Kartana dies to every special hit in the game, pretty much.
It's not true.
Okay, gets 3-hit KO'd by Toxapex Scald, I think. So like that's kind of sad.
I've always argued that if I were to ever draft Scizor, I think I would draft the normal Scizor, which is only 75 points over the 90 point Mega. But that's me.
Yeah, I don't like when I think about like Scizor and like Mega Scizor, I don't like the difference. Like they're so comparable to me. Like the Mega really just gives this thing stat. It's kind of like Garchomp, right? Where it just like gives you stats. But Garchomp gets a point reduction when I Mega it, so why wouldn't I take that? Like, why would I want like stats on him, like on him and have it do the same thing?
It's also, by the way, it's a slow team as well, so like,
it is.
And no.
Yeah, that Jolteon was meant to.
It does get Masquerain gets webs, right?
It does. I feel like he's gonna be pigeonholed into bringing, they are gonna be pigeonholed into bringing Masquerain more often than they would like. I think they're gonna have a lot of matchups where they're like, the way we win this game is if we get webs up, so we have to find a way to support Masquerain.
But like, I don't think webs even helps this team that much. Like, it doesn't help Scizor. It doesn't help Gliscor.
It helps Gliscor. If Gliscor wants to run like this the subset, you love being faster.
True.
You love being.
Yeah, it might help Drapion. But like Barbarical is gonna shell smash.
They have the second fastest speed, guys.
It's funny, but
really
like,
surprised me.
I didn't even notice that. But
they have one Mon over 100 speed. That's
the big, like, that obviously is the big thing, but like,
doesn't Masquerain get Quiver Dance?
Yep.
Yes, Masquerain gets Quiver Dance, but they will. I'm telling you right now, they will not bring it more than twice in the entire season.
Quiver Dance.
Quiver Dance. Because you need webs, and webs Quiver Dance. Masquerain will not live 2 turns ever, or 3 turns. So you can't bring webs and Quiver Dance on the same set. It's actually impossible. I don't think this team doesn't support Masquerain.
I don't know.
They might even they might bring it and they might just never get it off. Like they might have a set that has webs Quiver Dance, and they're just gonna be like, okay, we'll pick at some point. And they're just gonna have to pick and sacrifice the other.
I think that's
like
a
Masquerain
fine
is not.
What type is Masquerain? Is it
bug flying?
Bug flying. It doesn't have a good stab, really. Like,
Jeff says Mega Scizor gets plus 40 defense and plus 20 special defense. I don't think that's like, I don't know. I don't think that really warrants the Mega, to be honest.
I'm a huge fan of Banded normal Scizor.
Yeah,
so
same.
Like, that's like why.
Yeah. Because like Martin, like weren't we saying that like if Scizor wasn't taken, we would take it instead of Weavile?
No, instead of Metagross.
Oh right, yeah, but we were going to take it if it wasn't drafted.
But like, it's a very popular Pokemon.
Yeah. They're both like, it's probably not going to happen, but if it does, we should probably do
Michelle's saying Mega Scizor just gets the stat boost. That's what every Mega does. I think it's like very wrong. I think like what I was saying is I think the only other Mon that just gets a stat boost is Garchomp, and the reason we picked that is because it gets a point reduction. So we took that. I think like every other Mega is different than its base Mon. I think the next most comparable one is Tyranitar, but I think base Tyranitar Dragon Dance is borderline unusable. And I think Mega Tyranitar gives it the bulk it needs and the disgusting attack it needs to let it put D-Dance online.
There's one other
I actually can't think of another Mega that just gets stats and does nothing else.
Latios.
No, because you can't run Calm Mind on Latios. Well, like, it gets the stats, but it enables a different type of set.
could run like okay, yeah.
Calm Mind is so unviable on Latios. Okay, not so unviable.
I wasn't gonna.
But, like,
I wasn't referring to Calm Mind. I was gonna refer to like the Earthquake Clearer set.
yeah, Home Claw set. Yeah, that's a set.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That
a set on
enables a
Mega.
completely different type of set. Maybe Latias. I'll maybe agree with you on Latias.
No, I think
Mega
Latios. I think Mega Latios is very different than regular Latios.
I think so too, but I think it's the next closest.
I think Latios is closer than Latios.
I think Scizor is the biggest example of just a Mega that gets stats.
Yeah, we agree there.
Except, okay, no, I think Garchomp is the bigger example, but Garchomp has a reason in draft to pick it over the Mega.
And like, it's not just get stats; it's like gets them pretty uniformly where it already had some stats. So like,
the thing I'm saying is like, if you run this, sorry, I don't want to like interrupt, but just saying one more thing. If you run like the Roost SD Scizor, like what does that set beat non-Mega or Mega that it doesn't beat non-Mega? And the answer is like Specs Electric types. Sorry, you can go.
Yeah. I was just gonna say like it's not like Gallade or something that like gets a ton more speed and now it's like actually viable as like just a fast Pokemon. Like it's just like a bulkier version of the original Scizor. And yeah.
And there's like scenarios where you can't run Banded Scizor Mega, but you can run Banded Scizor, right?
Yeah.
Or like.
And I guess Banded Scizor would hit harder, right?
Yeah, it definitely does.
That's another situation where it's like same thing with Garchomp, like Life Orb Garchomp, it's just as hard as Mega Chomp, so why don't you just run that? It's like it's a case by case scenario for sure, but I think like what if they're trying to turtle with this draft, like it's not even turtle, it's like setup turtle, right? Like with the Scizor, like the Gliscor, the Necrozma, the Masquerain to an extent with the Intimidate, Quiver Dance. Like if you're really trying to turtle and set up, you're gonna get run over by like opposing setup anyways. So the Mega on the Scizor isn't really gonna make a difference, I think.
Well, like I'm biased. I love regular Scizor. I think it's better than Mega Scizor in draft because of the point reduction.
Anyways, I think the rest of this team is, I think this is the other roster that's similar to your roster, like you two.
In a way,
where it's kind of like it's a lot of like either value or just like more spread out in terms of power level.
Yeah, like some stuff like Drapion and like Jellicent and Jolteon.
Yeah, I don't think there's any dead weight on this roster. Like Jellicent is the closest thing to like dead weight. Like sometimes when you bring a Jellicent, you're like, this thing actually can never come out of its Pokeball, or I just lose all of my momentum.
Yeah.
But I think every other mon on this roster has something it can do.
I think you
and
have
like
to
some reason to play.
Watch out for Barbarical. Like,
Yeah,
if you're not careful, it can beat you. I'd give this a B plus actually, or no, a B. Sorry, I'd give this a B.
I give it probably a B as well. Honestly, it's very similar in style to ours, so I'm a little bit biased there.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for sniping them that hard.
Would a Como O be good on this team?
Would a Como O be good on this team? No, because he was gonna complete like Ethan said he wanted to draft something like completely different. Like he wanted his other what was his other pick? His other pick was like
Mega Gyarados.
Mega Gyarados and Rotom Wash.
Ah.
I think was his other plan.
Gyarados, Mega Gliscor, Arcanine, Necrozma.
Mega Gliscor, wow.
Mega Gliscor.
Mega Gyarados.
Yeah.
I like Mega Gyarados.
It was a completely different draft, so no, I don't think Como O works on this team, but I think it would work on other team.
Alright, so wait, Julian, did you give a ranking?
Yeah, I said B.
Okay.
I think like just like a combination of like spread out power level plus too many mons that are trying to accomplish the same thing plus no real good Zed captain equals good team, but going to be very hard to execute. I think this is going to also be one of those big brain team building rosters. Not as much as the Altaria roster, but I think you're definitely like they're going to have to try some shit that nobody's seen before.
So
I'm excited for the Necrozma. Pardon?
Ethan's good for that, I think. So.
Yep, I think Ethan's very good for that. That's why I have confidence in this team of Michelle and Ethan. I think Michelle is very good at finding like bad things that work, or like a way to make traditionally bad things work,
Yeah.
and I think Ethan has a strong team building, or is a strong team builder.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, actually. I like that.
Let's talk about the next team. Last one.
Oh, God, this team. The Volcarona team.
Something Soulblazers. Solaceon. Sol Galileo.
So Solgaglio Soulblazers.
Yeah. Sol Galileo Soulblazers.
Alright, so I was like doing a lot of prep for this team because we play them this week as well.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, I played them this week too.
They actually have such a hard schedule, like first week. When you look
Yeah.
at it.
The first thing, like off the bat, like we discussed this, like they have to bring 5 bonds or like 4 bonds, and then like there's kind of a drop off in my opinion. Like
I'll say the first 3, and then it sort of drops off for another 3, and then the last 3.
Like Donphan is debatable. Like they're gonna have to bring Donphan no matter what. Every game, like there's not a game where they don't bring Donphan.
And that feels bad because Donphan sucks in my opinion. So.
Donphan's not. I had him and I loved him, but like he wasn't great. He kind of just like did one thing each game and then died.
Wait,
That's all Donphan can really.
I take it back. I forgot Rotom W gets defog, so
Defog.
Yeah,
maybe
defog.
they
That's why
won't
I
have
picked
to
it.
bring Donphan. Maybe they don't have to. I don't know. So I'll retract that statement. But like Lopunny Mega, Brar says it's the best Mega in draft.
Well, to be fair though, he's biased because like Lopunny is one of his favorite mons, right?
I think Altaria is better in draft, but I think Lopunny is the most unanswerable or the most frustrating to team build against, probably because it's frustrating, but it's very linear to team build against. It's like, okay, do I have a Pokemon that can take a return high jump kick and not die? And the answer 90% of the time is no. And then you say, okay, guess I'm going to ignore this Mon and try and just kill it with offense.
Yeah.
And that's
Like a
absolutely
Scarf or something.
fucking demoralizing.
Yeah.
We'll need Donphan for rocks regardless, Junaid says, which I agree with. I think Donphan is like the most unfortunate pigeonholed Mon on this roster.
They get Laron though.
I think they're gonna try to make. Oh yeah, no, it'll be able to. Wait, would you say just what get rocks?
Laron, but that's mostly a meme because it's Laron.
They're not gonna bring that. I think they're gonna try to make T-Spikes work.
With
Maybe, yeah, with Dragalge. I think they're gonna try it too many games. I think there are some games where you absolutely want to just drop Dracos all game, like no question about it. Like Rotom Wash and Dragalge paired together, like what wants to take like Volt switching into a Dragalge or eating a Hydro Pump and like or just like taking Dracos and Sludge Waves? And the answer is like not much. Like it's I think there's like maybe 2 different types, like different type pairs of Mons that can take all of that being thrown at you and not die. But like the point that I'm trying to make is that Rotom Wash and Dragalge, I think if they're more typecast into a role of just doing as much damage as possible and enabling your cores to sweep later, that's where this draft is going to be most successful. Instead of like, I feel like these guys value. Okay, well, no, I think a Brar values like outplaying your opponent too much, and so I think there's going to be we're going to see a lot of Willows with Rotom. We're going to see a lot of prediction Willows with Rotom. We're going to see a lot of prediction Defogs with Rotom. We're going to see a lot of T-Spikes with Dragalge. We're going to see like a lot of like sub Lopunny when it's not necessary, like sub Volcarona, like stuff like that. We're going to see that a lot, and sometimes it may work out, but sometimes it may be like, yeah, maybe I should have just hit them. Maybe I should have just turned off my brain and hit them.
Ironically, he criticizes me for that a lot, so.
I think the team is like extremely susceptible to chip damage as well. Like
Yeah, not much recovery, right?
Probably the most susceptible to chip damage team in the league, I'd say. Like, especially since you're gonna want Rotom and like Persian to like get you momentum, and like I don't know, Donphan has no recovery, and I don't know, like that's not a style I like. I hate it when Mons are susceptible to chip.
Yeah, agree.
It says this team will have a lot of trouble versus the Coco Metacham team because getting rid of rocks will cause them to be punished, and both Coco and Medi force them to switch a lot. So that's another thing where I'm saying where it's like against that team, if you look at it, like Quiver Dance Volcarona probably just straight up sweeps that team regardless. But I think they're gonna go. They may not just play completely around the Volcarona Quiver Dance because neither of them are very experienced in like the 5 protect 1 sort of strat. And so I think they're going to go for a lot of like small edging plays that slowly give them an advantage when they really don't need to, because you can just honestly send Lopunny in, press buttons, and your opponent just crumbles most of the time. So I think it's very much a mix of the two players' styles, where it's like Matt S just wants to hit you all game, and Brar wants to outplay you all game.
Yeah.
I wonder
Looking
how
at
that.
this team, it's like sorry.
Go ahead.
No, let Albert go.
Yeah,
But like looking at this team, it's just like I want rocks up instantly. I want to keep those up instantly. I want toxic everything, because you really have no way of removing toxic unless you bring a Aromatisse, in which case you bring a Aromatisse. So that's an L for you. It's a Aromatisse. It sucks. So like you guys said, it's such a chip damage heavy team. Like it's so weak to that. Sorry.
Because they're gonna be like pivoting with Rotom and as much as they can and stuff.
Rotom is like toxic bait right now, honestly, just like because I've been prepping for it. So
there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Rotom and Dragalge. Like those two mons are gonna have to switch into a lot of stuff, and if your team like can catch one of them off guard, like I think you just win.
Sometimes. Possibly, but like never underestimate
Quiver
how
Dance
fucking powerful Lopunny Mega is.
Yeah, that too.
And also like this is a very like the way I envision this roster is like teetering at the edge, and if Volcarona gets one turn, it just Quiver Dances and the game's over.
Yeah.
But like if Volcarona never gets that chance, like if it it's gonna start like rolling back down the hill sort of thing, where like everything, like all its support mons are taking too much damage, rocks are getting up and they're not getting cleared fast enough, like Volcarona itself maybe taking a bit of chip, it's never gonna get a clear chance to set up, and then you just kind of die. Like the only mon I think like okay, well like Volcarona I feel like might even want to scarf some games. Like with this roster specifically, like if you look at the mons on this roster, this is looking like Volcarona scarf wouldn't be that bad. Like obviously you want a Rotom scarf, but sometimes you actually can't because you need to defog with it. So like putting Volcarona on a scarf will like feel bad for a Brar, but I think it is necessary sometimes.
Yeah, scarf Volcarona is a thing. I feel like, wow, I just said that. I kind of feel disgusting now, but like, yeah, totally agree.
Wait, what's their Z captain? Oh, it's Volcarona.
Volcarona, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you scarf Volcarona, you can't set up and you can't Zed. But like I think this roster just, it lacks, or it's not that it lacks in a certain department, but it's just like you have a lot of opportunity to set up or to outplay when sometimes you'd rather just, or it's better just turn your brain off.
I think one thing a Brar doesn't account for is that like Lopunny can be outplayed as well. Like I'm still on that Lopunny. Like you can like predict a fake out, for example, and then like switch on the high jump kick or something, and I don't know. Like there's always high jump kick miss.
The way that Lopunny gets outplayed is when they try to outplay you with a Lopunny. Like they bring like the sub drain punch Lopunny set, and your opponent just doesn't respect you and just like tries to like for example, you switch your Lopunny into revenge something, and your opponent gives you no respect, and he says, okay, I'm just gonna press a button, like I'm gonna press a fucking psychic, or I'm gonna press like a fire blast here, right, and hope that HJK misses or he over predicts, and you go for like the sub, and you get hit with fire blast, and you instantly just lost 25 health that you're never getting back, and it's just like that. Like you lose like a lot of small battles when you try to outplay, and it can eventually lose you the game,
Yeah.
I think Lopunny's, I know a Brar will disagree with me, but I think Lopunny's a pretty linear mon.
I think it's super linear. I think like the sets that are like big brain are like when they're good, they're predictable enough to be counterplayed, right? Because like this, like the set that isn't HJK return, like and no other moves, is the set that is like expected. And when you bring anything other than that, I would consider it a counterplay set. Like I cannot envision a situation in which I would seriously bring sub drain punch Lopunny blind against another team, like bringing it on ladder or something. You know?
Never. It's
So like it's specifically for the counterplay.
Yeah. Like
And it opens you up to opportunity to be like counter.
Wise, I give it like.
I think it's a good team. I think it's a B plus. I think it's good.
I'll give this one an A minus.
Ooh.
Just because the first 3 mons are going to be really tough to just deal with.
What do you think about, Martin? What do you think about the Persian Alola? What do you think about that one?
It doesn't look very good. And it's like...
You don't think so? You don't think parting shot into free hits with Lopunny or free setup with Volcarona is a possibility?
Yeah, I guess. I just don't... It's only like this... The team's only like Psychic Answer. Or like Clink Clang. But like... Both of those aren't that great. Like a Psychic type. And like... Again, it's susceptible to chip and... Like... You could misplay... I don't know. But it's definitely good for getting Lopunny and Rotom like a Volturn type core. I don't know if they're gonna bring it as often as you'd think.
You think they're too forced to bring Donphan Dragalge? Is that why?
Yeah, like Dragalge definitely. Like what other special, like who can take a special attack here or wants to take one? Like Rotom, that's it. And then Rotom gets really chipped.
Yeah, it feels bad to have Rotom take special hits because you'd rather be like I was gonna say you'd rather be in the Fizz Def, but that's not true. But like with the power creep, Rotom doesn't take special hits as well as it used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that like the one area that was lacking for this roster is that like I think they tried to blend their two strategies too much. I think they should have maybe tried something a little bit different, but instead it kind of looks like half Matt, half Abrar to me. Yeah. And that turns into like this roster where neither of them like walls, and neither of them, or like both of them hate like stall, but neither of them want to go like full hyper offense on this roster is what I'm saying.
Albert, did you give a rating?
Yeah, I gave it a B, but that's pretty harsh. I think I just gave it because like
I guess it's definitely a B plus team. I think like Volcarona and Lopunny are like 90% of the time I'm going to spend team building against this is going to be against Volcarona and Lopunny.
Yeah.
And then
being completely fair, it's a B plus team. It's really good, and I'm scared of it. But just like, gotta have that trash talk. So, bro, your team sucks. I'm gonna smash you.
Ooh,
look at their like ranks across the board though. They are bottom half average stats, like in every single category or lower.
They don't have anything over with over a 600 BST.
I mean, technically, like you should be like somewhere in the middle, I would think, because then that means you're like min max.
Oh well, okay. The thing that we're not considering, I guess, is Persian's double defense.
Yeah.
That's not like a huge difference, but like Rotom just does have bad stats. It's just a good mon because it's type ability.
Yeah, but you want to min max like you don't care if your special attacker has trash attack, for example. So like technically you kind of want to be across the board somewhere in the middle, I would imagine, because then you might like if you have number 1 attack, you're probably gonna have like I don't know, like Zapdos's 90 attack or something that you're never gonna use, and it's boosting your average up.
Yeah, no, I agree that you do want to be somewhere in the middle, but like their only middle ranking is special attack. Everything else is lower. I don't know what that means. I haven't looked. I think Laron is a big culprit of that, to be honest.
Yeah, that too.
Actually, not really. It's only bad stats or like speed.
But like even is this look at their defense. It seems really high, like across the board. And
yeah, but then they have like Volcarona and Persian Alola, which like really has double defense. I think everyone drafted very defensively. I think there's a lot of high defense mons.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked that's their only 5th. But I guess with the double defense Persian.
You guys are 6th in defense with a Metagross and a Como-O. 130 and 125.
To be fair,
and a Tangela.
We have Bombi and Gardevoir dragging those down. So like
I know, but you guys are 6th. That's crazy.
Yeah. Everybody's very high defensively. What's number 1?
Like 8th is the Brampton City BuzzSWOLES, whose highest defense is Jirachi with 100.
Oh well, yours is number one, to nobody's surprise, with Kartana.
Yeah, it's literally just Kartana and Suicune.
Kartana, Garchomp with 115.
Yeah, but it's not a defensive model. Oh, Carvink is the 150, that's why. Wow, we have number one in 3 stats and then overall.
Yeah, your team is like pretty busted when it comes to like averages.
Yeah, we're just stats machines, to be honest.
Yeah.
Stat horse.
Okay.
All right.
So it's a good roster.
I guess that's everyone's roster.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
It's too early to do predictions, right?
No.
Too early to do predict? No, you can go for a prediction. What do you guys think?
What do you think it's been like in order?
Why don't you start like with what you think are going to be some good matches this season? You go
to start off this week, there's 2 good matches. Us versus Abrar, and Abrar versus you guys. Not even joking. Those are 2 really good matches.
They are.
I really want to play Julian and Junaid. Like, I want to beat both of them at the same time.
Oh. When do we play you? Week 3? Ooh. We got some time to think.
That's going to be fun. Here's a prediction. We don't lose a game.
That's not really a prediction, though. We all know what's going to happen.
I'm just kidding.
I really like the fact that we play, like, everyone plays each other twice. Yeah. Like, if you fuck up the first game, it lets you, like, learn for the second game.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's going to be a Pokemon that's just, like, going to be top? I'm guessing Volcarona.
I'm going to say Kartana.
Kartana?
No, I'm gonna quell that fear right now. Kartana will not be on the podium by the end.
You don't think the number 4 most used mod in OU with a base 181 attack and a stupid good speed share won't be at least top 3?
That is correct. That is what I think.
Okay.
I do not think Kartana will be on the podium.
All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being overly like not critical, but like maybe I'm just like overrating it because I play a lot of OU where Kartana is busted.
No, it's got to be Volcarona or Lopunny, I think.
Volcarona is going to be on the podium, or Lopunny is going to be on the podium, possibly both. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe Metacham, honestly.
I'm planning on Mew getting on the podium. I'd like to see Mew on the podium.
Unless it like spams assists, then maybe, yeah.
Honestly, Modern, I want Como on the podium.
I don't see any of our mons being anywhere near the top.
So. I don't think so either. But
we have so many.
If Necrozma gets on that fucking podium, I'm gonna have some strongly worded messages for the stream.
I have no idea what's.
Jeff says he wants Swallow to be on the podium.
Oh my god! Trade.
I wind up Blizzard.
I don't know why you guys don't believe in Kartana, because both
Kartana won't be. See, Junaid says Kartana won't be top. We don't have the support for it. It's not that like he is right. We don't have the support for it, but that's fine. Like it's not a thing that we were lacking in the roster. It's that Kartana is the support. Like Kartana is meant to support or to enable our cores.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's position 4 is because it's the core enabler. You know.
It feels weird to see like a mon with 181 base attack be referred to as a position 4 support. You know.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Who else has crazy, like, I don't know. Like, Reuniclus probably isn't a position 1. Got, like, crazy special attack.
Yeah.
Reuniclus is, actually, it's probably still in your core. I don't know. But yeah, no, we're definitely, we're going a little bit niche with this Kartana, I think.
All right. Okay.
You're probably not going to see very many standard sets from this thing.
Well, I'm excited to see it in action. That's for sure.
Be more excited for the Mew, if I'm going to say anything.
Alright, is that like a hint?
Oh, Junaid says Sharpedo is going to be there.
Sharpedo Mega? Yeah, it's free. Free kills.
If we're being honest, don't think so.
If you guys ever play against our roster, make sure if you're prepping for Mew to scroll down to that usually useless section. That's all I'm going to say. Scroll all the way down there and take a good hard look at all those moves.
Come on, I don't want to have to look through like 100 different Mew moves. Because like, it's just too many.
Why not Blizzard? No, we're talking about, we have a draft league, and we just had draft day a couple days ago, so we're just reviewing our teams and doing predictions.
I'm going to call it here. I think it's exactly 2 hours, and it's an hour for 59 minutes, so like, let's just end it here. It's going to be a good season. Teams is going to be awesome, I think. I wasn't sold on it at first, but everyone was like really cool on draft day, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think this is definitely like this worked out. Maybe we dodged a bullet, maybe we didn't, but I'm happy with all the teams. I think everyone is at least satisfied with their teammate, and we might not get a chance to do this again. So let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.